asked. And Linda, have we seen the AbaThembu King arrive at Nkandla?
Well, indeed, Thembekile, I can certainly tell you that a couple of minutes ago, before you came to us, the AbaThembu King Buyelekhaya Dalindyebo arrived with his entourage here at the home of the former President Jacob Zuma. You would see behind me the MKMVA, who are usually stationed in the house, or rather at the entrance of the former president's home. Also, that security vehicle that you're seeing there on your screen was the one that was leading that delegation that has come to visit the former president. So arriving in that SUV, you'll remember, which we'd like to believe, is the one that he was bought by the EFF. He was driving himself, in fact, Thembekile, arriving here at the former president, which was quite interesting given the fact that, you would think that he would, be driven. But he arrived here in that with that particular convoy and that particular delegation, driving himself and entering. And I must add that the anticipation then was that he would arrive earlier this afternoon at around 3-4 o'clock, which was the time that was communicated by his team. But of course, due to delays then, which were attributed some to a flat tire, he only arrived right now, or now in the evening, which then we can only assume then it would be dinner. While we've seen others arrive for tea parties during the day, well, he's arriving for dinner this evening, and perhaps that meeting will take place. It's unclear if he'll be spending the night here at the former president's home, but of course right now we anticipate that that meeting will get underway as he's already arrived.
Well, I suppose they could wash down their dinner with a cup of tea, Linda, but you're talking about the communication that you've had with the people from King Dalindyebo's delegation, shall we say, or his comms team at the very least. Have they said anything about what's going to be on the agenda for this meeting? Because as we're coming to you, I referenced the fact that the relationship between the two men hasn't always been cordial.
Yeah, indeed. You'll remember that, in fact, in 2014, he came to the same homestead to apologize, and that is in fact the first time that the AbaThembu King came to visit the former president. It was after he blamed the former president for his legal woes, saying that in fact he was in fact behind his legal woes. He had always lambasted the former president during his tenure in office and his administration, saying that it hadn't treated him fairly. You'll remember him calling him a boy, a liar, and even saying that he flushes ministers as well as kings like condoms. So of course that describes the kind of relationship that the former president as well as the AbaThembu King had. But you remember again in that 2014 visit, coming to officially apologize for all the utterances and lambasting the former president in public. He gave the former president a cow, and in return the former president also gave him a cow. Now that was an acknowledgement of his apology, saying that that would now start a new chapter. It would chart a way forward for the relationship. But of course the woes that you speak about also, another time that was quite interesting to observe, the ones when a section of the AbaThembu nation requested that the former president revoke his chieftaincy, or him sitting at the throne, because of the manner in which they claimed he behaved, saying that the way in which he behaved was unroyal. So that relationship was described by many as frosty, but today we're seeing perhaps, and also a different picture, where he's coming to pay a courtesy visit to the former president after, of course, his short stay in prison. So then we'll get to hear then at a later stage what the outcomes of that meeting, if they decide to then make them public, the same way perhaps that we didn't even hear. You'll remember we didn't even hear about the outcomes of the meeting that the former president had with the members of the EFF and many others who came to have tea here in Nkandla.
Linda, Mnisi, live for us tonight outside Nkandla, the homestead of former President Jacob Zuma, the 79-year-old, tonight hosting for supper, we assume, King Buyelekhaya Dalindyebo, who was expected to arrive earlier in the day, but as Linda was telling us, arrived in just about the last half hour or so. We'll come back to you, Linda, there in Nkandla throughout the evening to see what we are able to glean from that meeting.